Welcome back, beautiful people. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I am your host, Zen Sams. Now, in just a moment, joining me in our influencer segment, brought to us by Caldwell Soames, is model and Instagram star Rudy Bundini. We're chatting modeling, making it in the Big Apple, what work looks like in the modeling industry these days, and his social media tips on making a splash online. Now, Rudy is a living proof that the American dream is alive and kicking. The Switzerland native came to New York City with 2 bags and a bit of ambition, and soon ended up on a billboard in Times Square with millions of fans and devoted Instagram followers around the world. Now, as he gets settled in the broadcast room, let's chat a little bit about social media and technology. With so much technology so readily available at our fingertips, it may be challenging to identify exactly which digital marketing tools work best for you as an artist. As of April 2020, a total of 3.81 billion people around the world use social media, putting the worldwide social media penetration rate at 49%. Facebook continues to be the most popular social media platform. It has generated 2.6 billion monthly active users by the quarter of 2020, the first quarter of 2020. Now, the Sprite Social Index, Empower and Elevate also found that it's the most popular platform for both marketers and consumers. But before using any type of digital platform, I recommend identifying your audience, figuring out what the online vibe feels like for you, your product, and your brand. Here to break it all down is Rudy Bundini. Welcome back, superstar.
Hello, Zen. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure always to talk to you and your audience.
Excited to have you back, my friend. How do you feel that the modeling industry has changed during the pandemic?
Well, we got a big hit, as you know. A lot of fashion brands and also fashion associated businesses went out of the business as the effect of pandemic. But thankfully, as the cases has started and the vaccine came out, it has started to reopening, and I'm thankful to be a part of this journey.
And is it easier? Is it easier or harder to make money as a model these days? I mean, post pandemic, so to speak. I mean, we're still in it, but
well, it's kind of like as you feel it's getting to start going back again, it shuts down. So it's like right in the. So we are right in the interactions of going up and down, but I'm still thankful. There are a lot of things a lot of people have been dealing with, major dramatic issues, but I'm thankful that we are still safe and alive.
And how do you meet these days? How do you meet your clients in terms of casting and meeting casting directors? Is it a lot of virtual sessions? What does your day-to-day look like as a model these days?
So there has been some changes as adopting to the new rules of fashion industry. We just adopt to have a lot more virtual casting. So we used to go on in-person castings. Now everything is pre-taped and we submit it as pre-taped. So a lot of digital things has been added that we used to have it. It's just the same transactions as the comp cards turned into digital. And now everything from in-person castings are merging into digital castings, which are pre-taped.
It's very interesting when you talk about these digital platforms and castings being pre-taped. I mean, a lot of the time casting directors in the past have wanted to experience their talent in person so they can understand, exactly what it entails. But now everything really is just as good as you make it. So I guess having your setup at home with your own Zoom room, so to speak, your own audition room is key these days. And I know a lot of artists have converted portions of their apartments into being able to submit on a daily level to these casting directors. And I find that, very entrepreneurial because now you've taken steps into your own hands. Now let's talk platforms. There's a lot of platforms out there and people have a hard time figuring out which platform suits them best. Now, platforms are fabulous for spreading the word about work. Make sure, you know, spend time understanding how each of these platforms functions, though, is really key, and deciding whether or not they work for you. Example, Facebook is great for reaching large audiences because content can be easily shared through private or public accounts. However, it can be difficult to manage and has to be updated frequently to be effective. Instagram is another one. You know, Instagram is largely image and mobile focused, so it may not be the easiest platform for musicians to discover content, but it can be great for visual heavy artists. And the news stories features can also be great for performing artists. What do you feel amongst all of the platforms is the most effective platform to get your brand out there?
Well, for models, it has been always Instagram has been the highest requirement for the models, even in the castings. In some parts, they just want to see your Instagram because that gives the casting director a really good vision of not only your look, but also based on your captions and different looks that they get from different angles of you. So it gives them a really good understanding of where you're standing.
Exactly, or where your strengths are. Because when I look at your Instagram page, it has a very specific theme. Your point comes across. You clearly are a model that focuses on a lot of physical aspects of the career, in terms of you have companies booking you for a lot of athletic wear and a lot of undergarment stuff. And so that is kind of key to your body and to the image that you portray. So kudos to you, because you do a fantastic job with your page. Now, I'm going to move on to something a little bit more global here. You are a former boxing heavyweight champion, and you've modeled for Nike, Armani, Versace, Calvin Klein, and that's just to name a few. You've walked numerous runway shows, shot many campaigns. What does your fitness and diet routine look like these days?
Well, now as we're approaching to Fashion Week, I'm trying to tune down. So I reduce the carbohydrate. I usually wake up, have my coffee, and do cardio for 45 minutes. I go back. I consume a source of fat and protein at the same time, which releases. So it allows the body to start doing the fat burning process. It's helpful, and then as reducing the carbohydrate at the same time, allowing the body to use as the body fat as a source of energy. And so I'm reducing some sizes to be able to fit perfectly for the Fashion Week, which is coming in the next month.
It's interesting that you are able to puppeteer your body and your weight like that. And I'm assuming that's because you have such a good understanding of health and nutrition, where you're able to, you know, lean up right before Fashion Week per se, and then kind of let it a little bit not be so strict and rigorous, you know, when you're not working. So I think that's interesting. I have 1 minute left. I have one last question for you. You have a master's degree in mechanical engineering. Will you ever put it to use?
Well, definitely. When I was having my thesis, one of my professors, because I was always telling them, you know, this is not the field I'm going to work in. At the same time, because I was doing I was working in the athletic world as a boxer, and also I was modeling. So I was telling my
So yes or no, yes or no. We're almost out of time. Will you put it to good use? Yes, there you go.
There is no effort in this world that you put into work and it is useless. So definitely everything that you do is going to help you in the future, one way or the other.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on, Rudy. It was an absolute pleasure having you.
Yes, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Guys, you have to check out Rudy Bundini on the gram, at Rudy with a Y, Bundini with an I. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.